Yosef had two dreams, right? What was Yosef's two dreams? The first dream is, what was the first dream? First dream was the Shibolim, right? And the second dream is the stars. Notice, what is Yosef bringing together? Right? Shamayim and Aretz. He's bringing together the divine and the earthly. First the earthly, the Shibolim, literally from the earth, growing up from the earth. And what he was saying is that we're all equal. Don and Asher and God, they're no better than you. They're no worse than you, and they're no better than you. What does that mean? What that means is, he was essentially saying is, we don't know yet who is going to be the chosen one to build the 12 tribes. The jury is still out. Therefore, what are we? We're no different than Yaakov Avinu. We could be like B'nai Noach. We didn't yet become Yisroel. Right? We could. And probably we want to. But if we are going to, it's going to include all of those that are born now. It's either all or nothing. You're with us or against us. Either we're the 12 tribes or we're nothing. And we have to see. Maybe the 12 tribes will come out of me. Or maybe a different, out of our children, one will emerge. We don't know. So now we understand, based on this, why was it that Yosef told the dreams to his brothers? What, is he crazy? Is he trying to stir up, hatred? I mean, you have a dream. I'm going to go and tell this, and I found out that I'm supposed to be king over you. Isn't that a great dream? Is that something you want to tell people? Was he crazy? And then after the first dream, he tells again the second dream. Why? What is he trying to accomplish? The answer is very simple. What he's saying to them is, you're wrong. We are all in this together. Okay? And I have an important role to play. And you know what my role is? To keep all of you together. Because that's the job of a Kohen. And I got the Ketones Pasin. That means that I received from Adam, the original Basar, right? The charge to keep all of us Echad. Basar Echad. We have to be a unit. We brothers must be a team. And if we're not a team, we're not fulfilling our destiny. We're not going anywhere. And that's what the dream said. Now you understand, Yosef was trying to talk to his brothers. And he brought he brought back reports that said that the brothers of Leah are treating these guys like slaves. And they're not slaves. We got to make 12 Shvatim here. So it was an ideological debate between them. And that's why Chazal tell us that they were eating, he says, they're eating treif. What does it mean they were eating treif? The brothers are eating treif. You know what they were doing? Shchita. You know what happens when you shecht an animal? Does it still move a little bit? Yeah, you could see movement. It's called mifarcheses. You ever hear the phrase, like a chicken, running around like a chicken without a head? Because chickens do run out. When you cut off their head, they're going to run around a little bit. Because of whatever electrochemical messages have already been sent from the brain to the body that cause motion, even though the head's not there anymore. Chickens without heads run around. Right? So, however, it's still kosher. Does that make that chicken any less kosher? 100% kosher. You can just wait till it stops running around and proceed to slice it up. That's for a Jew. What about for someone like a goy who has the mitzvah of Eiver min hachai, but never got the mitzvah of shchita? Shchita is not a remedy for them. What do they have to do in order to eat an animal? Make sure that what? It's dead. What does dead mean? Dead. No movement, no energy. The halacha of shchita is reserved for the Jewish people. Right? It's not for the nations of the world. Yosef, so on a deep level, what Chazal are telling us is that they're considering themselves finished Jews. Right? Well, I'm telling you that they cannot be Jews without incorporating these other people, and it's too soon. We have not been coagulated, for lack of a better word, into a group, because there's dissension, but we're not Basar Echad. And if we're not Basar Echad, then we're certainly not 12 Shvatim. And if we're not 12 Shvatim, then we have no reason to use Shchita, because we have no privilege of Shchita yet, because we haven't reached the level. And now you can understand how all the Parshas unwind it. Yosef's sole job is to recast Klal Yisrael as 12 unified brothers. And if he fails to do that, then he fails in the mission of his father Yaakov. Now you understand why Yaakov sent him out to begin with. What, Yaakov's stupid? Yaakov thinks that his brothers love him? He was there. He knew Vayisnu that they hated Yosef. So why did he send them alone? From where? Where did he send them from? By the way, from Hebron. Hebron. Chibur. Hebron. Earth. Hebron, the burial place of Adam Harishon. Adam Harishon. Basar Echad. Got it? He says, we got to pull this group together. He sends Yosef on a peace mission. How do I know it was a peace mission? Brilliant. Look inside the pasuk. What does it say? What does it Yaakov say to Yosef? Does anybody remember? The beginning of Parsheot Vayeshev. Okay, here we go. So it says as follows. Vayeshev Yaakov v'chula v'chula. And after the dreams, so he says like this. They went to the city of Shechem. Why Shechem? Why do they run to Shechem? Shechem is a very important city. Chazal tell us, Makom Hamuchan Leperonios. It's a really challenging place. What does Shechem mean? Which part of the body is Shechem? The shoulder. What does the shoulder represent? Connection between the head and the guf, between the divine, the sublime, and the physical. That's Basar Echad is Shechem. You cannot have a head detached from a body and expect to have a body which is mechubar with ruchnius. You can't. The head has to be connected to the body. And by the way, if you really want to understand it, it's in the inverse, because the lower part of Klal Yisrael is like, think of Israel as upside down. Okay? Where's the bottom of the head? What's the southernmost city of Eretz Yisrael in the territory of Yehuda? The really southernmost city that the Torah refers to. Not a lot, you know. That's already beyond, you know. Beersheba. Beersheba is the brains of Klal Yisrael. It's the bottom of the head. If you turn a person upside down, okay? And what are the eyes? And what are the nose? There it is. It's Yerushalayim, which is the northernmost part of the territory. You understand? With the mouth, which is also a Mizbeach. So upper head, which is Keter, which is the original place, which is of course why the Avos were there, why Avram was there, why Yitzchak was there, because that's the place of the Avos. And then you move up to Hebron, which is in the middle. This is like Hebron over here. And then lower part of the face is Yerushalayim. And what happens after Yerushalayim? Binyamin. Binyamin is the neck. And it connects to Shechem, which represents the body of the Jewish people, which is Yosef, the tribe of Ephraim, and everybody else. The hands extending both westward and eastward. Think of it just upside down. And now you understand, when Yosef and Binyamin are reunited, as well as when Yaakov and Yosef were reunited, where do they cry in each other? They cry in each other's necks. Why the neck? Because that's the whole thing. The whole thing is about, can we pull this off? Can Binyamin do his job, the nearly impossible job, of keeping the Shechem intact with the Tzavar and the Rosh? Really hard. The brothers went to Shechem for a reason. They wanted to break away. Just like who broke away in Shechem? From the Malchus of King David, grandson, Rechavam, son of Shlomo HaMelech, lost 10 tribes. To who? To Yerovam ben Nebat, one of the most wicked, if not the most wicked Jewish king of all time. Has no chelik in Olam Haba, right? He lost his place to him where? In the city of Shechem. That's where Shechem, where the body was literally severed away from the neck. Shechem, the brothers went to secede. well, you want to, we don't want any part of this guy. This Yosef, who is like the upper part of the Shem, right, who connects immediately to Binyamin, his brother, wants to get us involved. Leave us alone. Shimon and Levi on either side, we're out. Which is maybe why, what's on the big day kahuna of the 12 tribes, is the 12 tribes. Where does it appear? On the shoulders. Because that's the point of connection. All right? And then on the Lev, which is the deeper, because we have to put all that together. The Kodesh Lashem, together with that, goes. That's really the secret of the Ketonis Pasim, which is really Big Day Kahuna, but that's for another time. All right? So, what do we want? What do we see here? We see that the brothers went to secede. And V'yomer Yisrael al Yosef, Halo achecha roim b'Shchem. This is bad news. They're seceding from the union, right? L'cha ve'eshacha aleihem, V'yomer lo hineni, he says, I'm willing to go. This is like a death mission you're sending me on. V'yomer lo lechna re'et shalom achecha ve'et shalom hatzon v'ashiveni davar. Let me know what's going on with the dinim and the judgments and everything. Let's try to make, what does he say? Shalom. Let's try to make shalom. Try to make peace. See what you can do. I'll send you on a peace mission. And he went from Hebron to Shechem. Hebron is the place of unity. And go to Shechem and see what you can do. That's why Yaacov sent Yosef, to make peace with his brothers. Except the Malach Gavriel meets him, right? And he says, where did your brothers go? Do taina. With the Dalet. They're going to judge you. And you know who's part of that judgment? Hashem himself. Was the 10th man. Right? And they said, Yosef is dangerous. Yosef's trying, just the opposite. Yosef was really trying to keep us together. They said he's trying to sever us off from Klal Yisrael. Just the opposite. And therefore, we're going to throw him into the bore. Again, dibur. So, this is what's going on a deeper level. Now, in terms of Hanukkah, these parshas always coincide with Hanukkah, right? Yavan represents darkness. Where's darkness? In a bore? Completely dark. That's, what does Yavan do? It separates the head from the heart. It says we have pure intellectual interest, right? But no avodah shebalev. We're not worshiping Hashem. We just want to experience human intellect. And experiencing human intellect without the kedusha, right, is akin to chopping a person's head off. And eventually leads to only one thing, tuma and death. Almost instantaneous death. Because you're separated from your connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's Yavan. And that's why Choshech is a Yavan. Yavan is darkness. So that's why everything, and the original Yavan, the original wisdom of Yavan didn't originate in Athens, okay? It originated in Mitzrayim. The original conversation between Yosef and Paro is exactly that confrontation between the foreign wisdoms and Torah wisdom. Right? So, because Paro says to Yosef, what? You're the most brilliant chacham. He calls all the chachamim and the chartumim, all these people who know how to use their intellect to get answers and information. He says, no, biladai, nothing to do with me. It has to do with Elokim ya'aneh et shalom Paro. Notice, Hashem's going to answer you. That confrontation, which centered around the 70 languages, the languages of the wisdom of the natural world, that confrontation began way before the Greeks and the Jews. But it's the same exact, and that's why the Torah Parsheot all mirror that, because it's really the same story. Okay, we'll go more into that. We're going to meet next week, by the way, for Hanukkah? Are we have a meeting next week on Hanukkah? Yes? Mr. Shem will go more into that. So, okay, so let's go back to Yotes Kislev with Donald Trump. The announcement by Donald Trump on Yotes Kislev means that another step was taken to strengthen Malchut Yerushalayim. Yerushalayim was associated with Malchut, which means Malchut Rome, the Western world, the Christian world, took one more step down. Some want to say that the eclipse that took place in Elul, where America went through an eclipse, foreshadowed this, literally creating what? A little choshech on them, and more or on us. So this was definitely a ray of light in which Yerushalayim is recognized as the royal city for the first time ever by the dominating force of the world, which is the Christian world, whose greatest and most powerful country is the United States. And who is now, America, as we've said earlier, on a positive side, is going through a cleansing process. And that's the cleansing. Rav Yavot Za'ir. When America comes to the service of Am Yisrael, right, then that is actually the beginning. It's a tahara. You know what else creates tahara? When you want to kosher something like a spit, how do you have to kosher? You can't put it in the mikvah. How do you do it? Yeah, and that's what's happening with Los Angeles. It's going through a process of, Hollywood is going through a burning process of cleansing. And on a bigger sense, if you open your eyes and ears to this, unfortunately, a lot of little yiddelach over there are getting into a lot of trouble. You know what I'm talking about? They're finding all these Hollywood producers and all sorts of media personalities and who knows what else, politicians. I can name you names of Jews. I'd rather not talk about them. Each one more prominent and well-known than the next. The biggest, the highest level, the most important producers, some of the most important actors, and most important politicians. Well, what's happening? They're all being burnt. What does that mean, they're being burnt? They're being exposed for their wrongdoings, mostly in terms of victimizing Nebuch women, right? Or being corrupt in whatever manner. And it's coming out. But you know something? That's not a bad thing. We have to hope that there's not terrible ramifications for Jews, but it's a cleansing process. It's a cleansing process. This cannot go on. The Jewish people can no longer be associated with this type of behavior. That's not for us. That's not who we are. That's not who we're supposed to be. And it's burning. It's really burning. And it's a good burning. It's a healthy burning. And out of that, hopefully, will come some virtue. Maybe a lot of virtue. Okay? Now, so finally, I'll add this. Two things we maybe didn't know. I didn't know until late last night. Trump's electoral victory took place also on Yud Tes Kislev. Meaning, remember they didn't want to certify the electoral vote right away? There were challenges. The day that they certified it, okay, was Yud Tes Kislev. When they officially stopped the challenge in Michigan, you know why they stopped the challenge in Michigan? It was stopped by a Jewish lady. The Jewish lady was in charge. You know what they found? They found that there were more votes for the Democrats than people in the district. Sheker. Kula sheker. And they said, by law, one of my dear friends told me this, who's a brilliant person, knows a lot about the law, and he said to me that by law, since they found that irregularity, Michigan law would have required them to go over and study the entire election, which risked the fact of showing the terrible corruption. So they dropped it. They just dropped it in its tracks. Because the alternative would have been that they would have to give a full accounting of every district and vote and explain why there are so many districts, but the numbers didn't quite add up. Okay? Corruption. It just had to stop. It just had to stop. So that day was Yud Tes Kislev. It's the day of Emes. It's the day of Hashem's truth. What do we say, Titin? Emes Yaacov. Emes Yaacov. So another, Emes took a step forward over Sheker. A huge step forward. And I think it's something we have to see as a Habisorah Tova. And what do we do with it? So what we can do with it personally is to be Bali Habisorah and not Bali Dibur. What does that mean? Habisorah means whatever words you have, right? should be Besoros Tovos. What is Betoros? Shir v'tishbachos, happy things, positive things, good reports, things that will bring people together. That's what you got to use your words for. That's what's going to keep the head and the shoulders together. And we shouldn't be like chickens running around without heads, chopping each other's heads off with our words and thoughts, and sitting in judgment, the din. No, dibur is kasha, is harsh words. Those words should have nothing, and that's why Hanukkah is really a chag of shiros v'tishbachos. Hence, Hallel is an obligatory mitzvah. The full Hallel, even though we don't say a full Hallel on Pesach, for example, except for the first day, because there's no special carbon musaf. Okay, but on Hanukkah, we it goes beyond even a yontif. Yond Cholamoy. How? Because this ness of the bringing together of Klal Yisrael, of the head and the heart and Klal Yisrael and Avodas Hashem is only through shiros and tishbachos. And that's why you have to, and if you want to make a Hanukkah meal into a mitzvah meal, not just fressing latkes, as good as they are. I don't know if you get really good sour cream here, and maybe you can get better sour cream here. Okay, whatever it is that you serve your latkes with, applesauce, whatever, I know it's available here. So, that's not the point. And it's not the point presents, except that presents do bring a sense of unity to people. Right? Marbet staka, it says in Pirkei Avos. Marbet shalom. You give out, you give shalom. Now, I'll end with this. The ultimate mevaser tov is Eliyahu Hanavi, right? It says in the Mishnah in Edios that Eliyahu Hanavi, it says, Rabbi Yeshua says, I have a Kabbalah from Yochanan ben Zakkai, the rabbi of the Churban. Now, where is all this going to end? He says, well, one day Eliyahu is going to come. It's a fascinating Mishnah. And what's Eliyahu going to do? He's going to take the families that were thrown out of Klal Yisrael because of some psul, like people cut them down and said bad things about them, and he's going to retrieve them and say, no, you're legitimate Jewish people. And I'll take people who were illegitimate and brought into Klal Yisrael by force and separate them out. So he's going to actually create a proper Klal Yisrael. But the other Tanoim in the Mishnah say no. Lekare v'lo l'rachek. He's not kicking anybody out. If Jews made it in one way or the other, leave them alone. He's just going to bring back Jews. And some say, and one says, Shemesh says, lahashros machlokas, to end all fighting between Jews. And Chachamim said, lo l'rachek v'lo l'karev. He's not kicking people out. He's not bringing people in, but rather to make shalom in the entire world. It says, Hine anochi shalechem zkulatov, right? Lifnei vayom Hashem agad levanora, v'heishiv leiv avos alabanim, v'leiv banim alavosam, to create unity, to create basar echad. So that is our job on starting from Yotes Kislev. It gives a week notice. We have to get our act together. We've got to practice a little bit. We've got to practice for Hanukkah. You got a week's notice to transform all of our diburim into Besoros Tovos, and we should see further Besoros Tovos from here in the meantime.
Rabbi.